Hey, this is Justin. It is Sunday morning and just testing out the technology for a walk and talk that I'm about to get started in a few minutes. So, walking and talking is my favorite way to connect with people over a longer period of time, and I just wanted to actually test this out to see if it's actually going live. Just started back up with StreamYard again, and let's just see if it's not, testing. Yeah, so this is literally just a test to get started. We're going to go on a long walk and talk today, potentially 3 to 4 hours, just to get some of the ideas that are rattling around inside the head, outside the head, into a way that they can be useful. I'm just looking. Here we go. We got the start here. Okay, so we got this one kicked off. So I'm gonna see if I can go off of camera here, to get this started and to get it moving. And can I flip the camera around? Let me see if there's just a way. Exit solo, remove from stage. Oh, there's no way to go off of camera for that, so that's okay. Oh, I can just turn my camera off. All right, we can continue to talk through as we're getting kicked off and then moving through the day. I can also mute off the mic to get this started. So this is going to be a longer walk and talk. Will be an opportunity for people to join in live. Let's just see if it's actually. Oh, okay, we're off of camera here for a few minutes, so this is going to be audio for a little bit here, and then we will take a pause in a few seconds while we get a couple of things situated for the morning walk. So these are brainstorms. This was inspired by the Mark Levy book, Accidental Genius, using free writing as access to your greatest thoughts. So this is literally a free talk, getting some of the ideas out there. So what's unique about this Sunday is my whole family's away on vacation, and I'm solo. So this is just me and the puppy hanging out at home. So wanted to kind of experiment with some new things today, and then wanted to go live on some of the walk and talk. So if you are seeing this, please drop in a comment. That comment live. Just want to see if the comments are actually working. We're starting to just kind of test out some of the additional items, and we'll have this one go for about 10 minutes, but literally going through top of mind brainstorms with what some of the topics are. And what I'm most excited about is using AI in the background to start to capture some of the ideas that come out here, and then to start to make these things useful. To an interview show, and a way to be able to connect with a lot of people about some of the stuff that they're working on, and taking things to being able to go from an idea to something that's real out there into the world very quickly. So we'll start to get some structure into these as some of the new ideas start to merge, and as we start to get new ways. Looks like I'm not able to get into the audio recording, which is fine. Uh, let's see if it's grabbed at that time here. Let's see if we grab at that time. Yeah. 2, 3, 4. Here we go. All right, we are live there. So we do have the live stream going on here. So we will turn the camera on in a few minutes here. We'll probably go mute for a few minutes while starting to get ready to go out the door, and then we'll just go live to the walk and talk. I've got a backup battery here. I want to start getting some better audio also set up throughout the some better audio equipment set up, and then maybe have the idea of, as people start potentially leaving some comments in here, connecting with some other people along the lines for the walk. So my big dream is to have something inspired by the Sparks and Honey daily cultural briefing, which is a uh, an internal meeting that gets broadcast out in the world, and becomes content that people can actually use to feed off of. And so that takes place in a studio. It takes place in a it takes place in a studio, and it's also live production. Like, how can you start creating some of those same experiences live, literally just doing walking and talking? And this work was inspired by the Mark Levy book, Accidental Genius, which is using free writing as access to your greatest thoughts. And so this is like free talking over a period of time. I expect if anybody would like to join in, I can then actually invite you in. I think if you leave a comment saying, "Hey, I'd like to join here," I'll see the comment start to come through. Potentially, let me just make sure. Actually, let me test out the comments as we're working through here to see if we can actually do some of the comments here live. Okay, we do a like here. Let's see if I can do a comment. Celebrate, support, love, insightful. How do I do? Hey, testing out live comments. Please leave a comment if you would like to join live. All right, perfect. So let me see if the actually comments come through here. All right, perfect. Yeah, I'm seeing the comments actually come through from people. So yeah, if you are listening and you'd like to join on live, leave me a comment. What I'll do is I'll go into the direct messages on LinkedIn and we'll be able to let you in. But I can start seeing some of the comments here live. Actually, let me see if I can go to my LinkedIn as we're going here. I don't know if I lose my camera. That's another thing to actually test if we can. If I'm off. If we lose the access to the broadcast, it looks like we don't lose the access to the broadcast if we actually go into the live session as we're starting to work. Figure out ways to get connected. So if you are listening live, please, and you'd like to join in, please leave a comment. We'll start going through some specific topics in a little bit. I'm literally just working out the technology right now, and I'm going to get off of the live here. Yeah, we'll get off the live and I'll just go into the DM. So feel free to, if you'd like to pop in, or if you've got some questions or some topics that you'd like to actually talk about, anything is on the table. This was inspired. I started this morning reading Noah Kagan's book, The $1,000,000 Weekend, and how to get things launched very quickly. And one of the things I've been most inspired about or most excited about is taking and doing most of my work via walking and talking. And so wanted to mess around. I've had an idea, which is also inspired by the book. Let me just see if we can get if the audio is actually coming through with this new connection. So up here, I don't know how to do a mic test here. That's going to be a little bit annoying. Private chat, stream info. All right, I'm going to assume that the audio is going to be coming through. I'll see it here in a second. I'm going to test that out actually. If I can take the headphones off and then start to put them on, you'll start to hear some clinking of the let's just see. So it looks like the mic test is actually working here. So this is literally going to be testing some of the audio functionality over the next couple of minutes. And then I also want to test out the mute to make sure that that works okay, that we go off of audio for a period of time. So I'm going to take my phone away, do a little bit of a test here. I'll be back in about 45 seconds. So this is literally the technology test to start to make things work. All right, so we've lost all listeners at this point in time. But this is, it'll be 10 or 15 minutes to get through the technology piece. Then we'll come back on camera and start doing some of the walking and talking. It'll actually be interesting to do an overlay here. Click on a banner to show an example. This is an example of a banner. Let's see, rename folder, create a banner here. Use banners to summarize. There we go. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Let's go on mute. Let's see, add the banner there. Let's take away that banner. Yep, we'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, so that's perfect. All right, I'm going to go on mute for 2 minutes and then we'll come back in here. Brilliant. All right, let's do that. Okay, and we are back. We're back in live. Let's get the mic on here. So I'm actually going to get a live mic today. Get a better mic set up so we can get some better audio quality around the stuff and not have the clanking of the cheap Apple mics on the as we go through. So another thing I want to do is I want to get my fanny pack here so I can get, before I head out for the morning, I want to get that set up so I can go on the long walk, and then number two, I can have a backup battery in place as we're starting to work through the day. The other thing that's very exciting to me about this is you can download the transcript live. That's why I upgraded to the premium version of Restream, so I can get access to the live transcript on the back end, which is huge for me because I want to start to use AI on the back end of these conversations to turn these into things. That's the whole name of the game, and the piece of work that I've actually been going through to create these for the transcripts on the back end to be able to work with. So let's get rid of this banner here. All right, we got the banner off here. Please feel free. Please drop in a comment if you would like to join live. Brilliant. All right, perfect. Here and here. I don't want to end the stream. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Add banner. All right, boom. We got that. How do I edit that? All right, cool. So we got the banner here. All right, we can start doing some of the streaming here. Don't love the, we'll have to do a better overlay next time for some of the, have to figure out a better way to do the, let me just see if I can do a better overlay right now. StreamYard, add overlay. I can add my dog. Let's just see what we got here. Oh, that's my family in Hawaii. I'm just going to give a little photo of my dog here. Boom, for my overlay. Brilliant. So that will get a little bit of a better visual. And it's a, there we go. All right, we got the perfect setup there. Brilliant. Oh, I can do a 30-second countdown as we're starting to work through. All right, got the picture of the puppy. Now I just need to get my I need to get my setup in place for the what's the point? I need to get my setup in place for the to get my backup mic. But yeah, now we're starting to stream live. As long as we keep our internet connection live, we should be fine working through this. And now we can just go through long walks and start to interview people as we are going on those walks. I don't know where my backup battery is, which is super annoying here. What did I do with it? Let's just take a look and see if we can find that backup battery. Boom, where is it? That's the only thing that I'm missing before we actually get started and hit the road, is finding the backup battery here. Did I not change? Okay, so we'll start talking through some topics. I'm literally working through logistics. This was originally supposed to, there we go. We got the backup battery here. Let's get some water before we actually hit the road. Got the Creek in the Cave fanny pack on to get this thing started. Not hitting it on audio, not hitting it on video today. So we'll do a lot of the audio piece so you can actually see the sessions live and actually see them streaming live. Again, this is inspired by Mark Levy's book, Accidental Genius, which is using free writing as access to your greatest thought. This is free talking, and so free talking, which is like brainstorming out loud to start to trip into some of the different ideas. And the whole idea with this is on the back end, people can join into the conversation, but we can also take the transcript of this conversation, which is the key piece, and use it to create new things, or to start to share resources and to start to spawn out new ideas for things that we actually want to create and to build. So I'm killing a little bit of time here as we start to get started. I've also got the neck desk out, which we'll get to. We've got the neck desk, which allows me to to be able to walk and to be able to have these conversations hands-free. So first thing I want to do, or one of the first things I want to do this morning, is I want to get a gift for one of our neighbors. I'll see how we're going to actually handle it when we're doing some pausing as we're moving through the day, and conscious of, I don't know that anybody's going to watch this thing all the way through, but conscious of just conscious of the experience for people when we're doing a little bit of pause or when we're checking out in some of the places. So I'm going to start taking notes for some of the things that we want to actually get captured and captured here today. Oop. Yep, that's good. Perfect. Got it there. All right, perfect. We are back, and I think having a second device potentially will work too for the live streaming. If we have a second device, it's starting to capture the audios. I think we can also add on top of this. The clinking is not going to be great on the. Have to figure out how to keep the structure live. So if you are joining live, first of all, thank you so much for joining. This is meant to be a walk and talk brainstorm, getting ideas that are rattling around inside the head, outside the head. Oop, here we go. I want to offer a promotion to your channel. Thanks so much. Great. I got a promotion on my channel from the Twitch order management panel. Thanks so much. Go to Streamrise. All right, perfect. Somebody's offering me something, which is a nice opportunity. Stubby Console was offering. Sorry to bother you. I want to offer a promotion to your channel, viewers, followers, view, chatbots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to the best. Flexible and convenient order management panel, chat panel. Everything is your hands. A huge number of custom settings. Go to Streamrise. That's actually interesting. It's probably a different way to be able to stream some of the stuff that you're actually working on. So that's how we got the comments set up here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to hit the bridge to get started. I've got my backup battery here. Get the backup battery when you have to start doing some of the backup battery. We have to start doing some of the new ideas, and then we'll start to. Whoa, it's a little chilly out. I'm gonna put the hood on. I shaved my head yesterday. I didn't do it myself. I went someplace to shave my head yesterday, and so now feeling a little bit cold. So now let me see if we can do some of the walk and talks as we're actually going through and running some errands. So I think I'm actually gonna hit the bridge before we get started. You will hear some. My mic is going to be hitting my hoodie a couple of different times, so that's going to be annoying ways to annoying noise confusion in the background. So some of the things that you're starting to work about, it's like, how do you start to go on long walks? That's the name of the game, right? And then one of them was like, how do you start to replace a lot of the work you were doing? So I was getting in and hitting off, starting to do some more work this morning. And I realized it's a Sunday morning, and I was really kind of shy on my steps the last couple of days. So I was like, what do I want to do today that will be kind of most significant opportunity to create, to kind of feel the most amount of, right? I got a LinkedIn user here that's saying, hello, Justin, welcome. Hello, LinkedIn user. Can I share comments live here? I'm just curious, actually, if we can share the comments live in the stream. Yep, we got it here. All right, so let's just put my comment in here. Yep, so hello, LinkedIn user. I'm not sure if you got a name that goes along with it, but feel free to leave a comment or ask a question as you're starting to go on. It's an interesting way to actually share onto the stream here. So welcome, LinkedIn user. Feels like TikTok right here, where we started going live on TikTok, and then you're starting to speak to a lot of human beings, but and a lot of bots of people who you don't necessarily know who they are. So I'm curious, actually, if LinkedIn user, no, it doesn't show a name there. That shows up as something that is, let me just actually, I don't want to go to the live stream because it'll mess up the audio on the back end. So hello to you, the LinkedIn user, and who is connecting this morning. If you want to add in some more or identify yourself by name, please feel free to do that. So what else? Oh, I can actually add more pictures of some of the stuff that we're actually seeing as we're going on the walk this morning. Because I see, I can't see your username. What's your name? Yeah, I can't see your username. It's just calling it LinkedIn user. I think it's something to do with the streaming phase, the streaming piece. So I can't see your username. So if you wouldn't mind just tagging yourself. If I go to the LinkedIn app to actually look to see who it is, then the audio. Actually, let me just see. Let's just see who it is here. Who do we see? Who do we see? Who do we see? Oh, we got Brad. All right, I see you now. Yep, I see you now, Brad. How are you? Happy Sunday. Yep, I got you now. It's just showing up as a LinkedIn user as opposed to your username on the streaming channel. So we'll have to take a look at that. But I got you. You see how it's showing up for me? Yeah, it's calling you a LinkedIn user and not something else. So, yep, happy Sunday morning. I was actually thinking about you recently and reaching out and wanted to see what was going on with your the apartment situation. So starting to do these as I've been doing the audio walk and talks, and I was doing like the private sessions. You can't go live on LinkedIn audio, and then broadcast them to other people. So they're just like events that are just recorded with some of the people that are actually there. And then just decided this morning to start to do audio broadcasts live via doing them live on the stream. This was also inspired by something that was created called the 12-Hour Walk. It's a book, and yep, I'd be Chicago. I'd love to actually be in Chicago today. I think some of our friends were just traveling through to Chicago, and I was just missing it because I didn't know if the Mets were in town today. I was like, if I was in Chicago, I'd definitely going to the Cubs game today, if they're in town. So, also was in Philly a couple of weeks ago, and just feeling the nostalgia of kind of being in those the baseball towns we love. And where was I? I lost my train of thought there where I was going with it. Decided to start to stream live for the audios. We'll go long form. What happens for me is when I record, it is, let me just see here. Let me see. Oh, we can do a comment here. I just do that. Please leave comments if you'd like to join live. Yeah, perfect. I can actually change it. That's how I'll start to do. I can actually add in the comments for some of the newer pieces. But decided to go long form. What happens for me when I do these, the walk and talks, is after about 25 minutes, start to go unconscious and start to get some decent ideas out there. Now, what's nice is on the back end of this, we can get a transcript of everything that was said, and then can start to parse out some of the ideas that are interesting, parse out some of the resources that get talked about during the session. Those can get shared out as reports. But the whole idea is, how do you take just a random brainstorm or a random conversation between people and actually turning it into something that is usable? And it's sort of in the spirit of getting our best ideas out there when the guard's down, right? When the pressure's not necessarily on, where we're just feeling in a creative space and how do we get, and then also at a minimum, even if nothing great comes out of it, we get to go on for a walk, which is one of the healthiest ways to be able to connect. I decided to skip jujitsu this morning to run this experiment, to go on for a couple of hours. I think I'm going to talk straight through, either allow people to join in, or we'll talk straight through for about 2 hours. That's those are the two options right now. And I also like not having the option of not having the camera on, to be able to have more freedom to not actually have to look at the camera, but having the opportunity to actually turn the camera on when we need to. So I'm heading in the direction of Greenpoint, Brooklyn right now, and might actually head into the city in a little bit and do an upgrade for my mic situation before we get too far into the conversation. So the other piece is, today is going to be a random brainstorm. I'm going to take the transcript of this conversation, pull out the key insights from the conversation. This will be a 2-hour version. We'll take the transcript of that, and then we'll start to get feedback on forming the topics for the next sessions that we work through. So that's the whole idea. Just start random, and might go for probably will go to for an hour and 20 minutes more. Also might do some more of the shorter form types of these sessions, and then use that to start to get some feedback and start to sculpt and to script and sculpt. Yeah, that's what we'll call it, script and sculpt, where the next type of sessions will go. And actually, if we can get the transcript out quickly enough, might be able to do a session soon afterwards. So I'm going to aim to do 2-hour sessions today. They'll probably be unlistenable, unconsumable for the most part, or maybe it'll be 4 1-hour sessions. We'll see, right? Just to see what where we mold, and then also to be able to get feedback from people on, or to get feedback from real humans of like, hey, what is some of the stuff that you're actually interested in talking about, and doing some more of the scripted stuff. So, or not the scripted stuff, more of the structured, so it becomes more usable for human beings. So this will be word vomit for a couple of hours, and then or people can join into the conversation as well, if that's preferable, and we can move the conversation in. It can move the conversation in another direction. So that's the experience, right? It's literally unloading what's in the brain live, and real time, and then seeing where it actually goes. And I'm thinking at this point that I'm going to do the walk that I used to do quite a bit, which was head towards the Williamsburg Bridge, and potentially come back after that, maybe hop on the subway after that, but head all the way down to the bridge, and then go someplace else from there. It's a little bit of a challenge. Maybe it'll take 30-second pauses every once in a while to 30-second pauses to start to create something else. Can also, interesting. We'll talk about morning routine a little bit here. So some of the stuff that actually gets recorded during a morning routine, as we're doing the walk and talks. And now I'm just thinking also if we can do if I can start putting videos in and playing videos live. And this was inspired by what Gary Vaynerchuk does with the can you play a video live on a live? That's interesting, because what I'm thinking about that is if you can have some content in the background that can literally capture the whole morning routine, and then just go on mute and then play something else in the background as the live is going on, or something that is a usable piece that's going on. And what Gary Vaynerchuk does on his Twitch live stream is he'll like talk to the audience live, and then he'll take a break. He'll put it on mute, and then like when he's actually going through a meeting, and then he'll play a piece of content on top of it while the live is going on, right? So to have something that's rolling, so that people that can just consume this for a period of time, and then you can go long form for some of these recordings. So I just don't know. Let me just see if I can go private chat, stream info, post comment. I can actually do it from here. So let's just do talking about morning routine and live broadcasting ideas. All right. Let's see. So we can do that here. Boom. Where's that one going here? All right, perfect. So we can also get some of the content in here, talking about morning routine and live broadcasting ideas. All right, so we got the comments going out in some of the different places, and that's how we'll start. So can we get so when I go through, I'll talk about the morning routine piece of it. So go out for the walk with the dog. I go to Yak first and do a check-in with my coach there. So I listen to his message and then do a response back. Then I do that on Yak, and then I go to Loom and do a video check-in with my because I can do a screen share on there. Do a video check-in with my health coach in the morning. Which sometimes it's just a walk and talk where we've got the audio that's going down, and then sometimes it's
it's a screen grab. But again, that's all happening during a walk. I'll do a check-in with my family, just sending them a note of, just that's an audio note that they can listen to, a check-in for the morning. And then sometimes I'll do my own sort of brainstorm. If I want to do something a little bit more structured to work with, what I'll do is I'll go to Clef Notes, and that's a way where you can actually share an idea that starts to get presented in a structured way. And so now, so that's where we start getting into the place of how do you start to create work from the random brainstorms that we're starting to work. How do you create work from the random brainstorms that you're starting to work? And that's kind of the name of the game, because I could sit in front of my computer for 4 hours today, and I would get a decent amount done. But the problem is there would be no great distribution around that. There's no way to really distribute that work, and so wouldn't be able to get the right amount of attention on it. Or what I can do is I can go on this walk and I can talk about some of the stuff that we're talking about and working on. And now you got great distribution, like people can see it, it's out there, we can get a transcription so it can get organized, but it might be a little bit overwhelming. I don't expect that anybody is going to sit here for 2 hours and listen to the whole broadcast for the 2 hour period, right? And so how do you start to converge those two things, right? And so the other thing that's interesting with work is, like, I do my best work on the weekends, right? There's something about, like, the feeling of cheating. Like, I want to get ahead. Like, during the week, I want to escape from work a little bit. And then during the weekends, I like to do a little bit of work, right? But it's just like, all right, so when I'm doing my best work, there's not an opportunity to connect with other people and to share some of the stuff that we're working on. So how do you take the benefits of weekend work and that freedom and being able to work in a way that feels good and that works in the moment, and cluster that with what happens during the week, which is typically meetings and synchronous work with other people. So let me just actually catch that as a comment here. Let's just see, right? How do you get the freedom? Let's call it freedom from weekend work during a week schedule. I don't know if that makes any sense, but let's just see here. Boom. Yeah, let's go here. All right, so that's the question that we'll start to. Yeah, that's the question you start to think about. So how do you start getting that? So that's the name of the game, right? This is free and this is liberating. I can't talk about, like, the corporate stuff, right? Because that's like in a public forum. But if we can start to share some of this, stuff out that is meaningful, then we get. If we start sharing the stuff out that's meaningful, then we start getting to an interesting place, right? And there's just there's the power of the written notes, right? And but putting something quality down in writing takes a ton of effort into being able to do it consistently, time and time again, and you just don't know if the return on investment is there for the people actually consuming it. But the beautiful thing about this and the live streaming is it doesn't matter if nobody ever listens to this on the back end, or if I don't listen to this on the back end. What matters about it is that it's out there. And then this is something that I can this is something that I would be doing anyway. The only difference between this version and the typical versions is other people can actually listen to it. The stuff that I do typically in the mornings sits inside of Otter, sits inside of Yak, sits inside of Loom, maybe gets shared with one or two other people on the back end, but it's not out there. Now, if we can start doing some of these, like, little pre-recorded sessions, that becomes actually interesting as well, where we do pre-recorded, where people can actually interact and comment live. And then, yeah, if I can get a 2-hour video recorded on, oh, that's actually interesting. Get a 2-hour video recorded um, on Loom in the morning, so we don't have to worry about having the internet connections. Then can start loading these things live and can actually experience them live with people on the back end. So I'm thinking about, you can actually do the created asynchronously and then actually experience the event live with people afterwards as it's actually broadcasting live. And that starts to become super interesting. It can literally be live 24 hours a day with the stuff that, yeah, there's no reason not to be live. I mean, I'm sure there's many reasons not to be live 24 hours a day, but yeah, now it becomes possible to become live all the time and have a stream of content all the time that you can start to work with. And then that's where I think it starts to become interesting from a corporate perspective is where do you where it becomes like, right, you just have a always on streaming channel where people can actually go to see, to get the information that we want to get to. And now we want to start to make it interesting. Now, I don't know, I'm guessing the session is probably not so I'm guessing the session's not so interesting for everybody who's listening to it, but it is it's a seed, right? If we do a recording for 24 hours, right? How do you, not private chat, no, not good, not bad, but just comment. Let's just see here. Boom. This is, right. How do you have a 24 hour broadcasting station? All right. So now if we start to broadcast, that's the thing. If you start to broadcast, let's do that one here. If we start to broadcast 24 hours at a 24 hours at a time, inside of that, there might be 5 minutes that is like, oh, this is actually really useful, and this is something that we can grow and that we can have available to us forever. If we start to start to broadcast 24 hours at a time, you get like 5 minutes that winds up being actually useful. And I think it's kind of like, and then you can refine those 5 minutes and then turn it into something else. And then you just got a greatest hits of the work and the stuff that you're actually, of the work and the stuff that you're starting to create. You can be live for a whole period of time. Now, I'd like to be able to use these sessions to start to bounce off of some different ideas. So we might start doing some scripting as we go through some of the other sessions, as opposed to just going from the top of the head, because I think the scripting will start to make stuff more accessible for other people to start to use, or else, because then it's just going to be a wild chase for a period of time. And so start moving towards, here's 24 hours a day of crappy content, and then here is 24 hours a day of great content, right? And that's it's 24 hours a day of crappy content moving towards 24 hours a day of great content. Like, how do you define great and crappy? Both of those things are very subjective. Both are very subjective, right? But we can get, and then, just like, how do we start doing, when we do these 12-hour walks, can we do a 12-hour walk with a brainstorm? With a brainstorm live. And then how do we make it, do you still have the jam sessions? Let me see if this is Bradley. Yes. All right. Let me just make sure that's who's asking the question. So the answer is yes. Bradley, prepping for walk and talk. Where is it? Comms at All Good Chicago. How do I get back to the post here? Let me just see the post here. I don't want to do it live. Question is, we're doing them weekly right now. Doing them weekly right now. At 10 a.m. Eastern time on Fridays. they are open to people outside of the company if you want to join. So if you send me a DM on LinkedIn if you want to get added to that distribution list. For those, start 30 minutes virtually. Looking for a place of starting doing jam sessions live. Let me just actually do that. I'm doing them live, but during the pandemic, it was like really been messing around. It's like, how do you start doing jam sessions, one virtually, and started creating an experience, and how do you start doing it asynchronously? So this is the newer version of that. But the best is live and in person, impromptu, not scheduled. People go based on where passion pulls them to, all the way through some of the structure stuff. But yeah, this is kind of the new version of that. They still do work on. Yes, me too. I miss it a lot, actually. Let's just see I miss this is the City Technology Innovation Center, which was a site on the Roosevelt Island campus or the Cornell Tech campus on Roosevelt Island, and was interesting way to be able to create innovation, create new ways of working inside of a large organization. And you can get the special place, created from the ground up. And this is we'll leave that one there for right now. So it is, where do we going to go back to? Let's just see, where do we want to go back to as far as the ideas goes? Prompts for some of the wow, you can't see me. It's actually annoying not being able to see the names. Gonna have to figure out how to get the comments from the LinkedIn users. Might have to go to how to get the comments from the LinkedIn users and see who's actually commenting without actually going live. Let me just see if we can actually, how do we, doing the audio, I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit here. So, all right, we got this. There we go. Okay, now I can see it. I can see who's actually commenting in my posts, which is perfect. All right, perfect. So I can see who's commenting live 1 minute ago. All right, so now we got access to that. As people start to comment, I can see who the person is who's leaving the comment. So start to adjust that without having to make the live stream go live. So I can see the LinkedIn comments starting to come through. See names and other platforms and stuff is starting to come through. And I'll talk about the start of the jam session. So the jam session kicked off, started with actually podcast creation. And we noticed, like, when people said, hey, I want to start to create a podcast, all you've got to do is start an audio recording and publish it pretty quickly. That's it, right? That's how you actually go from 0 to 1 on a podcast, is just do an audio broadcast. And what's so nice about the the audio is, like, we all, like, the most natural way for everybody to be able to communicate is through spoken, right? It's the first thing that we learn. It's the thing we can do. Now, some people are not comfortable doing public speaking, but they can speak, right? 99.9% of the people can actually speak in some way. So it's the most natural way for people to be able to communicate. So now, if you want to actually create something and have it live out in the world, podcast or audio streaming is the best way. You can see this is like, I'm going for a walk here. My voice will get a little bit tired after a period of time, but I could do this like for a long time. You can talk for a long time and get a lot of different ideas, out, and you don't have to worry about looking good. I don't have to worry about the camera angles and all of that stuff. So that's what started it. So it was this month. It was April 1st, 2018. Did a session at Sacred Waters which was in Long Island City right now, which was the how do you launch the podcast. And we launched like 10 podcasts that day, right? And I don't know that any of them exist still today, but that's how we started getting them started. And then wanted a way to be able to get lots of ideas, out, because it's like the volumes of ideas that people can start to share, is like that's where we start creating the quality. So we created jam sessions as a way to, one, have people feel safe to express themselves and to be able to um, share their voice. And then number two is, that's actually interesting. Curious what that is. A bunch of college signs on this place here that we're going through. Um, Number two is really to see um, what starts to, like, what goes in the unspoken, um, when it gets spoken actually has legs and can move on to something else, right? And so that was how we started creating the jam session, and it just turned into a way for people that should know each other to be able to get to know each other and start to build relationships that way, right? And then so that's what, live sessions, not on a calendar, and then to getting started. Then when the pandemic started, and we were, started doing some stuff virtually, but virtual synchronous. The problem with that is you put it on a calendar, especially with corporate people, it looks like a meeting and it feels like a meeting, which is like the antithesis of what we're actually trying to create. So soon after that and I've always been very passionate about asynchronous audio, which is audio notes back and forth with people. And, one of my, I'll say closest friends, we don't, and definitely closest collaborators, we don't speak, we haven't been live in person. We haven't seen each other live for 11 years. I think we've been on one synchronous call, but we speak all the time, and it's through asynchronous notes. And what's nice about the asynchronous, I shouldn't be here. So right, okay, I think it's okay. What's nice about the asynchronous notes, let me just actually share this right here, post comment, async audio. What's nice about it is I can create a note. At any time, and then somebody can respond to it at any time. So, and if they don't respond, it's not like I put a huge amount of effort or put like a huge part of my ego out there for them to be able to connect. So what happens is most things just come to a natural end. It was like, hey, we don't want to talk about this anymore. And then some things some things just have legs, and you can't stop talking about them. So, right, and, how do you start to distinguish some of those two? So I got introduced to Yak during that period, which was asynchronous audio notes back and forth, and got to connect with other people. And I was like, how can you start creating how can you create the spirit of jam session, but have it available to people all the time, right? Like have people available all the time to be able to connect to that kind of entrepreneurial way of being able to think and to be able to be able to work. And so people communicate on their own terms when they want to. And now what's interesting, which started now, is Air Chat, which is an asynchronous audio social platform. So if you think about it, it's like X, but it's audio messages back and forth between people. So you're able to have some of those key conversations. But then, what has been missing which I haven't necessarily cracked the code on yet, what's missing from some of these conversations, if you actually want to turn them into something on the back end, how do you take something from an asynchronous conversation, not lose the spirit, not lose the fun, not lose the excitement, not lose the gist of the stuff that you're actually working through? How do you take that and actually turn it into something on the back end? So where I've been doing a ton of experimentation lately is like, how do I take the transcript of this conversation? I've been talking solo for 48 minutes now. How do you take the transcript of all this and mine for the gold, for the things that actually matter and can become useful to other people on the back end? And that's the game that I've been playing for quite a while. Then the other piece of it is like, how do you start to make that usable and workable in a how do you make that usable and workable like inside of a corporate space, so that people can work in ways that work for them? And maybe sitting in front of a computer, I'm saying this in a judgmental way, but it's not. Maybe sitting in front of a computer is the way that actually works for people. Maybe being in a lot of meetings is the way that works for people. Maybe like being on email all the time is something that actually works for people. But now that we start having the tools, I don't want to end the stream here. Now we get into a time where the tools can start to bridge the gap between, let me just go into this post comment, ways of working that work for people, ways of working that work for people. Boom. You won't let me post on LinkedIn here. Cool. That's fine. Oh, I want to put on ways of working that work for people. Boom. Ways of working that work. Oh, I like this actually. Can I I can't post it on X. That's okay. Oh man, this is annoying. Sorry. So you can only post on YouTube. Ways of working that work for people. All right. So how do you have people work in the environment that actually works for them? And how do you have people work in the way that works for them, but still be able to connect with people who are working in a way that doesn't necessarily work for them? And I think this is where Microsoft Loop comes in for those of us like in a corporate space, because Microsoft Loop creates the availability. You can actually create an excerpt of something that people can work on. Like I like working on Teams chats, but most of our people are still working, in meetings and then are working via email. So my perfect world is I could spend my whole day in chat and then do Gotta minutes with people. Like, hey, can we catch up for a minute? Just like boom, impromptu meetings, which would be great because people wouldn't necessarily be in meetings all the time. That's the whole idea of it. So, but a bunch of people work in email. So Loop, what it does is starts bridging the gap between those two things and allows me to work in chat, allows somebody else to work in email. So now, let's say some people like meetings are great. Like meetings are a great way to be able to exchange information, right? You can get a mastermind effect that happens during them. There's like a lot of positive things that can happen during meetings. The problem with it is they're just ridiculously inefficient, right? You got to schedule the meeting. You got to get somebody there at the same time. You got to have somebody like energetically on the same wavelength. Typically, somebody's got to prepare an agenda, for those things. So I was like, hey, why don't just with meetings, why don't we just start getting those things recorded using the transcripts to start to translate, like, here's what's actually really going on here. Now, if things are like, you do have those meetings where you have that boom, meetings of the mind, and you have those serendipitous moments where like, boom, like everybody's on the same page and we're just cooking with gas and everything's going great here. That's fine. You don't need special tools for that, right? Like the human being knows up. That worked, right? We just captured a magic moment here and let's bottle it and let's get it done, right? That's that. That's not what happens 99% of the time. 99% of the time, egos get triggered and people talk over each other and people are different energy, people are coming into it with like different levels of understanding and just people are coming in with it. And so, a lot of the times the meetings just become, at best like inefficient, right? And it's, they just become inefficient ways to be able to connect. But like, look, this is a meeting, right? This is me solo. If somebody else joins the conversation, right, then you start getting a mastermind effect. And if anyone wants to join, just please leave a comment if you'd like to join live or, come on the stage. You're more than welcome to do that. I just have to send you a link. And let me just see if any DMs are starting to come in. Nope, no DMs. Cool. All right, got it. So you can start, catering more towards like a LinkedIn audience here, right? But what happens during, they just don't work most of the times, right? And then, but they are a good way to start to be able to connect. Now, in person is great, but you just have like all kinds of scheduling logistical things that work to actually get people into the optimal setup. And so now for me, this, right? Like this is the optimal setup for me. I'm going for a walk. It's a Sunday morning. It's free time. It's beautiful. I'm at 8,646 steps for the day. Let me actually capture that as a backdrop. I think this is actually cool for me. I don't know if anybody else is going to care about this, but this is my thing. So let me just add an overlay here for the steps, photo library, boom. I don't know how this is going to look. Yeah, because it's the whole thing is like, how do we start to attach a lot of our work? Boom, got it there. Comments, boom, got it. Meetings. All right, cool. Let's see if get those banners bigger actually. Please. Oh, we got some low battery here. All right. Be muted. We're back. Okay, so the mic is not muted now, and I can't really tell when the mic's muted or not. I can actually see it there, right? So our mic is not muted right now. So like, how do you start to get the benefit? Like this is a meeting in my eyes, right? This is one person sharing pretty freely, like on own volition, without any sort of constraints. We can start to put some constraints on it, but any sort of like kind of breakdowns and ways of thinking that aren't going to work. And as I talk, sometimes I was like, are you just saying a bunch of word salad stuff? So I don't know if anybody else has experienced that too. I think everybody else got that same experience. So this is a meeting, and like I'd love to inspire hundreds of people just to go on long walks and to share their thoughts and work together to start to meld those into usable things that actually make a difference and solve real problems in the world, and solve problems and also kind of elevate our experience of living. And that's really the name of the game. And so I've been doing this for let's just capture it right here. Boom, 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 boom. Walking and talking. I've been doing this for 13 years now. Started doing walking and talking when my daughter was 18 months old and really felt like I didn't have enough time to do everything. So it just started with going on long walks to the office. And I started listening to podcasts, and I would listen to music and podcast on, I think it was on iPod, was it iPod Shuffle? Yeah, it was one of the smaller iPods. And we just been listening to that. And then around 2013, when I was doing some videos, just started doing some video recording, and that's when I started connecting with friends on Voxer and realizing the power of voice notes back and forth. So we could just like share ideas back and forth with people. And then that just moved on to SoundCloud, which was audio notes back and forth, right? Just talking about what's inspiring about what people are doing. That moved on to Anchor, which was meant to be a podcasting platform, and now it's a podcasting platform right now. But was again way for people to be able to connect in the gaps with some of the little pieces. And now we have lives, and actually I'm thinking about picking up a second phone to be able to broadcast twice, right? As we're starting to do these walks, to be able to have a way to be able to do some scrolling and searching as we're going through, and actually probably just do it with an iPad. With one of the devices that we actually have already, but yeah, just picking up a second phone to be able to stream in one place, and then to be able to kind of do the production and some of the other content for some of the different ideas in another place. So that's the what was you say? I lost the whole piece of it. That's the kind of how we got into the walk through each of these. Is like all of the best creations get, for me, all the things that I think of that have had the most impact on my life, and the things that where I think I've had the biggest impact has been started with walking, right? Started with walking and coming up with ideas like during walks and being able to look out into the world and to see what is going on out there. So 2024 might be the year of the 24 by 24, the 24-hour broadcast, right? Just getting it all out there to see where, because how crazy it would be just to be live all the time, to get, not live all the time, but just to have stuff out there all the time that people can interact with, and then using that to start to mine new ways of being able to work. So it's going to start with I don't know, an hour. I might go another hour actually. Doing 4 hours today might be a little bit challenging, but we'll see. We'll see how it actually goes, what actually happens on the back end, and then where we can start to, to build from here. And I want to get. I've got a couple of errands to run today. I've got to get a gift card for our neighbor. It was his birthday. Which was a very cool birthday party yesterday at the bouncy house. So going to hit that, and maybe it's an hour at a time, maybe it's 2 hours at a time, maybe it's early mornings and maybe it's late mornings. But I just want to push myself to get to the 6 hours of broadcasting today, and maybe just doing some sessions that go. Just going through the walking, talking, and start talking about some of the passion topics. So let me start talking about Art of Impossible here. I think that's going to be the next system, because I think that's going to drive a lot of boop boop. Yeah, if you'd like to join in here, this is going to be boom, Art of Impossible here. If you would like to join in, just leave a comment in the chat saying, hey, I'd like to join in here. I'd like to come on, and then I'll share you a link via. Actually, I can share a link in the chat here. Is that crazy? Yeah, why not? Just do it. Invite guest. It's a weird link. Guest can stream this to their own destination. Sure, that's fine. Let's copy that. Let's see how that goes here. It might be a mess for other sessions, but why not? Let's see who actually. Let's just put it out there. It's gonna be a weird looking link. I guess. Got it. Copy the link. Boom. More. If you want to join, here's the link. Let's just do it. If you want to. Oh, that's not gonna work for anybody else. I could do it on LinkedIn actually. I'm just do LinkedIn people. Boom. 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 Da 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 da. Join. All right, somebody else doing it live. Boom, comment. All right, here we go. All right, we're back. All right, yeah, we're messing around with a couple of different things here. So, yep, there's the link if you want to join live here. We'll get some pictures on. It's on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'd probably just having people join directly from LinkedIn. So if you want to join live, come on in. Hopefully I'll see you. This is my first time using the StreamYard Studio, so hopefully we'll see you coming in here. But feel free to join in if you want to come live. So we're going to go to the Art of Impossible here. I'll say in a couple of minutes. So I started Art of Impossible, which is a book by Stephen Kotler. I think it was in 2021. It was written. It came out, I think, January 25th. I remember that because it was my mom's birthday, which is talking about the formula for creating impossible results. And talk about the intersection of your passions is where you start to actually create some of the impossible results. And so one of the exercises it goes through is setting 25 listing out 25 of your passions, and listing out 25 of your passions, and seeing where there's an intersection between those items. And I think my passion topics will be the topics for a lot of these sessions. If we want to start to create some structure around these sessions, my personal passions will be the topics that we talk about, and those will start to intersect with other people's passions that we're starting to work with. And they talk about, creating a transformational purpose, which is that thing that you actually want to create in the world. So I'll speak about it a couple of different times. I go back and forth a couple of times on transformational purpose, but number one is to facilitate people in being able to express their voice and to get that they matter. Like in this moment now is pretty much, and then forever. That's what we talk about as far as like the transformational purpose and giving some of those options. And like for me, I talk a lot to in unstructured ways to hopefully allow other people to be like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it too. And then two, it's fun for me to get some of my ideas out there. And you talk about high hard goals, right? That's right. To create a high hard goals, right? To create a platform for thousands of people to be able to work in ways that work for them, to be compensated in amazing ways to be able to do that. My personal one is walking and talking. My personal passion, or even walking and listening, because I do probably do most of the time doing walking and listening, which are to podcasts and books, and sometimes to some of the thoughts inside the head. Oh, we do have a guest here. Oh, all right, invite guests. Here we go. Bradley, how are you?
How's it going, Justin?
Excellent. Let me come on camera here, or we can just do an audio. Let's just see how this goes here. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm on like two. I couldn't get StreamYard to work on my phone, so I'm on like the app.
Oh, gotcha. Awesome.
I'm confused. I'm super confused about how it's working, but if it works, I'll just leave it for now.
Cool, it's working.
Yeah, I'm on like two devices.
Yeah, I don't see you. I don't see me. But we'll go through it. So what's top of mind? What would you like to talk about today?
Just seeing how everything's going. I was listening to your statement about the art of impossible. Did you say?
Yeah, the art of impossible. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting book on how to achieve stuff that seems somewhat out of reach, right?
Yeah. It's a systemic. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I think I need some good books. So like, yeah, if you kind of want to go more into that, maybe I can buy it off Amazon or something.
Yeah, it's and I can guide you a couple of like books. What are you looking for? Books for kind of what specific purpose, or general purpose is fine too.
I feel like sometimes during the course of data science projects, a lot of times like the end goal just feels impossible.
Yeah.
And so it kind of was when you talk about how to achieve this impossible on the book you were talking about, kind of like I was kind of thinking like maybe I wonder if these like this framework that they discuss would be helpful.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and I like it inside the context of data science, because you have they talk about like lowercase I impossible, like things that that have been achieved before, but you haven't achieved them. And then there are uppercase, which are things that nobody's ever achieved before. And I guess you can cater that too, because there's also things that have never been achieved, like in your company or on a team that you're actually a part of, that you're starting to work towards. And let me ask you a question. Do you have like, with data science projects, is it like, what's your experience as it goes? Is it like pretty much not working, and then eureka? Or like, how does like the life cycle work from like your experience perspective?
Yeah, so I think one of the things is someone will, usually from like the kind of businessy side, right, will kind of come with an idea. And I don't know, it could be anything, right? Like they want to do, I can't even think of an example off the top of my head, but they will have some idea, right? And then they'll come to like the product managers, and then they'll talk about to us. And I think one of the challenging things is they kind of want a plan and like a frame, like a detailed list of like how the project will kind of go along. However, one of the challenging things is until we start, you have absolutely no idea, like, is it possible and where can it go?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because like if there's no signal in the data to like predict whatever outcome you want or gather this like clustering result you want or mark, then you can't really do it, and so then you have to go look for data or you have to revise the requirements. And I think that's the super challenging part because like I think it's people want to put it in the box of software engineer, but I think it's harder because software engineers like build the feature that does X, Y, Z, and it's like it's almost like building a car. You just got to put the parts together. With data science, like you have no idea what'll work like until you try it. Yeah, so it is a little bit like you said that try, and then maybe it'll work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. And then how do you like manage expectations around it? And I go through
Oh,
it.
it is tough.
Yeah.
Like it's this is one of the things that has made me like I actually started to go more in the I started to want to work in the engineering side because
Yeah.
I got kind of burnt out on it because it's hard because people expect something, and then I think sometimes it can feel like an excuse because like the data isn't good or like there's something there's issues, and if you feel like yourself is making an excuse, but however like there's just not adequate data or whatever. So I think that's the hardest part about data science, to be honest with you. It's like this expectations and then like how do they know you're doing the right thing and the data's not bad and stuff like that. Yeah, it can be kind of what's the word? It gets tough.
Yeah. And I'm dealing with a similar thing with like onboarding like like vendors and or third party vendors. Can you frame it in the like, hey, what we can do is we can run this number of experiments, and this number of experiments will take this long, and we can give you feedback like between each one, or we can give you like almost like make a go or no go decision after each round. But we can't guarantee because we can't guarantee results until we know what we know and we know what we don't know. Does that ring true to you as something that would work, regardless of whether people would actually buy it or not?
The only way I can see it really working is, I think, one thing I think is first of all, like there's a requirement that they want to build something that does X. I think the first step is like, okay, do we even have the data? Like, do we even have like a remote possibility? And then you're like, okay, yeah, we do. Okay, next step.
Yes.
All right, let's just do an initial investigation. We can't come up with a roadmap. We can't come up with anything. And let's see if there's like the features we need and the data we need and the signal we need. And then you can put together the plan of like, okay, I'm going to try this thing, and this thing. And here's an estimated timeline of each thing. And then hopefully by the end of it, one or more works. So yeah, you have to frame it like that. Otherwise, like it just gets, people, they expect something and then it's like not possible. And it's out of your control almost sometimes. So yeah, and luckily it's been moving a little more to this. I think for a while, originally they treated it used to be treated kind of like a lab where they didn't really have a lot of timelines and stuff, to be honest, like the older days. You kind of just had free reign, which was good and bad. Like it allowed us to like really dive into stuff. But I think if there's no like end date deliverable, then you kind of keep messing around with stuff. Like I think that's the problem with that kind of free for all approach. But but what happened is I think people became tired of this free for all, and so then they wanted to force us into the software box. But that didn't work because like you would be like, we need this by this date, and there would be absolutely no thought about the data and the requirements and the volume and all these pieces, and so the deadlines would get missed, and then everyone would be upset. So now it's luckily going. I think it's sort of converging towards a happy medium where it's like we have this framework where it's like investigation and then plan and then here's like the deliverables by date. Luckily, it's moving in a better direction now. But it's not software engineering. People don't realize that.
Yes. Yeah, and even like people want guaranteed results and an imperfect, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's like where it comes down.
Oh my God. Yes, and they want it fast, and it's like and here's the thing: you could put like 100 people on it working 24/7, and it doesn't. You know what I mean? It's not. It's just. It's not something you can just brute force out.
Yes. Yeah. But it's it's just like and the incentives are all like misaligned like the corporate space too, right? Because it's just like ultimately, it's the main there are the drivers, but like compensation is the most identifiable one, and you get compensated for being there a longer period of time and having things almost not work correctly, right? But that's number one. But the other thing we think about is like, you look at like, 99.9% of startups fail. They don't make it, and you don't know. Like in hindsight, you can know like Amazon was going to be great, but really you didn't know, right? There was there was at least 99 others at that point. So you got to try hundreds of different things, right? But
That's a good way to think about it. Like each like little thing is like its own startup.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? I like that. I'm going to use that. That's a good idea. That's a good analogy to help kind of communicate the issue.
Yes.
Yeah, I do like. I mean, I don't work everywhere, so I don't have all points of view. But I've worked a lot of places, and one of the things I see that's getting better is, if you remember, for a while we started to go towards where like every week we would have to like show some update on a deck for a particular project to like senior like leadership.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare because you would start spending like a third of the week just to try to come up, because sometimes you didn't really have results, but you had something. So you would try to be like, all right, what do we have? We have this. We spend a day on the deck, and then a day to prep on the presentation. That was the craziest. Like, I couldn't believe that. That's starting to become a commonplace thing. Luckily, I don't see it as much.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, and that whole thing is like, just please no, because you spend 40% of the time just like trying to be like, all right, does this deck look good? And then you never really make progress.
Yes. Yeah. You spend 40% of your time making a deck look good. And that's like, it's like, I mean, that was like Bezos's thing. It was like, decks are for like selling, right? They're like selling a point that you don't need to do internal selling, right? This is not and it's almost like, you have to make something look good that's not good. Is what it is. I mean, that's what PowerPoint does, right? And it's like, and if it's good, you don't need the PowerPoint. So it's almost like 100% non-effective. And we have these agreements between each other. Like, all right, well, we made progress, right? And like, oh, this is hopeful. I was like, or we have the issue, like, and it's like we have to have this like fake like. I was thinking about this too. Like my old baseball coach when I was in high school, he was a professional gambler, and he went on to become like pretty famous professional gambler. And I was going like on this bus trip to like the Rose Bowl. I was like, I don't want to go. And he's like, well, don't go. And I was like, well, you already paid for it. And I said, we've already paid for it. And he was like, well, what does that have to do with anything, right? And so it's like we make these like, we've already committed to this, and this ship has already sailed, so we have to like force it to make it work. And it makes zero sense. It's like the needle in the haystack for like success, and then you spend all this time before you even actually get started on the thing, and even that thing that you're going to get started on has a 100% chance. So it's like almost a guaranteed failure, right? Like from the start. I've been thinking about that quite a bit.
Luckily, I mean, it's different at every organization, but luckily it sort of feels like it's converging towards a happy medium between the research-led free-for-all and the we need this by like this date without any consideration to the underlying process. It feels that way, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, I after this decade I've been working in it or whatever, I've started to move towards more like wanting to do a lot of the engineering stuff, and that's like more of the data engineering, more of the model deployment, just because that whole thing has kind of exhausted me a little bit. The engineering side is a little more. It doesn't have that weird aspect as much, and so I've changed up my works type. I still do data science though, but just heavily focused on the engineering piece of it these days, which is a nice change.
Predictable, more right? Is that why?
Yeah, because like instead of like doing these analyses and trying to like run experiments and then have to deal with like all these expectations, it's a lot of like, oh, we need this data pipeline to output this. We need to take the model and then wrap it into like some object that we can get predictions from. Like, so
Yeah.
it's a little more nuts and bolts versus like science experiment.
Yes.
But I still do
Yeah.
both. I still do both.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, super interesting. And so do you still have the same passion for data science engineering stuff?
Pardon?
Do you still have the same passion for the data science or the engineering as you did in the experimentation phase? Or is it sort of...
I do, but like, I think I did, like, so I started doing as an analyst in 2013 or 2012, and it was basically data science. I guess it's just I did it for so long that I kind of wanted to move to something like different. I wouldn't say like I just liked it. I just wanted a change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
But I still like it. It's not bad. It's just, yeah. I don't know. After a while, I just want to change it up. Something fresh.
Yeah.
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 That's all.
Very cool. And I've been thinking about it too. And this is recorded too, but I was just like, I'm very curious about your apartment situation. Like, you know, that whole thing that you were talking about.
Oh my God! We could talk about it. That sold in 2019. I forgot I never updated you.
Oh, it did in 2019. Okay.
That was like the most insane fiasco, and once it was gone, I just felt like this, just burden lifted off my soul. You know, like
yeah.
It was nice. Yeah. So that's all gone. I left New York, 2022. Moved back to Illinois, but 2022 in April, I think. Yeah. But wait, 2023. I don't know. Whatever. But I do need to visit. Yeah. I do want to visit one day. So
yeah,
I'm surprised you remember.
Yeah. Oh, I remember a lot. No, I thought about it a while ago, but I was just like, I was probably resolved by now. But it was an interesting.
If it wasn't resolved, I would have just moved back into it.
and look, and there's whole industries of people that are like that jobs are to be like they make more money the longer these things take, right? And then it's just
my God!
And you're like that are just kind of designed to beat you down into submission, right? Where you're gonna be like, I don't care. Yeah.
When I did some more research on the other deals they did, I mean, I found a lot of that. Like it just dragged on, and then they kind of wear you down to take less and less and less.
Yes.
But the tricky part is like that it's kind of somewhat of a game, but you're so happy just to get out, or you're like, fine, just take it. Let me just go out with my life, please.
Yeah.
So but honestly, I felt so much happier when it was gone, even though it was lower than originally stated.
Yeah. No, those things. I've had a couple of those. We had and that's the tough part about real estate. It's great, and it's like it's. I mean, I think it's the greatest wealth builder, but the headaches that go along with it, you know, they devolve human beings, and they're such a. It's such a drag, right? And I think people way underestimate that.
I see a lot of people wanting to get into it, and I'm like, you have no idea like how emotionally taxing it can be.
Yes.
Like it's not just this money printer. It's a lot of like way more emotions than say with like stocks and stuff, you know, because you're sort of divorced from it. You just buy it on a screen and then you sell it on a screen. But this, not only are you there and dealing with issues, like there's all sorts of people and neighbors will email me like what's going on because it's a condo. It's very emotional. And I would advise people to not jump into it head first without thinking about all those things, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
But yes, but I was glad it's gone. I moved back, and I did buy another place, but I'm not going to rent it out or anything. I'm going to live in it. So
yeah.
And I live there now.
Yeah, it's like different place. Where do you where you live in? But
I live in the Chicago area. I'll tell you later.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, I haven't been for a couple of years, but I told you I was a vendor at Wrigley Field in college.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I love Chicago. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, what we've done which has worked pretty well, is, I mean, it came with its headaches along the way, but we would buy the place that we lived in, and then we would go to, we would like move someplace else, and then we would rent it out. So it was just like one by one, we would add and change it.
I can't hear you. I think you went on mute, Justin.
But it's that one that's not just like scars.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Oh, you lost me. Okay. They just scarred you.
That's what I was gonna do, and then as soon as we got ready to leave, they put it in that thing, and you weren't allowed to rent it or do anything.
Yes.
Like it was in this weird. I don't know. It's quite bizarre, like how that all works. How you can't even take a lease on it or anything. It's very strange.
Yeah. Well, it's all designed to not. Yeah, I think it's all designed to kind of keep the value with the people who are making those rules. And it makes sense, right?
So this is common, huh? Where they make these deals like drag out to beat you down and then offer lower and lower prices.
I don't even know if it's by design as much as it just takes forever, and it just goes to like who's getting compensated for what, right? And so if you have like, you know, look, if you have attorneys that are getting paid by the hour.
Oh my God, those attorneys make so much money.
Yeah, right. So there's that, and then there's just like, and then there's also the things that people just don't want to deal with. So those sit. Like I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? Like if I know, you know, if you're waiting for an inspector to finish something up, do you know what I'm saying? Well, it's just like, do I want to chase this person 40 different times? Yeah, maybe if my money's tied up in it or my emotions are tied up in it, but it's Bradley's money, you know what I'm saying? I'll just let it go on for a couple of years, right? I mean, that's like, yeah.
Right? It's so funny. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, you can only, yeah. So, yeah, just as I like get more gray hair, like I think about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I still I believe that, I believe people are good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's probably, you know, a very small percentage of psychopaths, but most people are like, everybody's on a range of like good people with good intentions, and they do the right thing. And I've pretty much seen that 100% of the time when you get down to it. However, systems, you know what I'm saying? Systems aren't designed for great results, right? And you look at, going back to our first conversation, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm still hearing you.
Yeah. Going back to the first conversation, right? Like, the people who are asking have good intentions. You've got good intentions, right? You know, at the beginning, and the pressure starts to come in, and they've made promises based on imperfect information. You're trying something based on imperfect information, and then you get into like hey, we don't want to do this again, right? And it's just like, and then it can get, the more pressure people have, the more adversarial it gets. So, yeah, it gets interesting. It's very interesting. The human dynamic, and then people get tired, whatever it is, like it's in the wrong moment, or they trip up some childhood thing that you like. You know what I'm saying? They say something that reminds you of something that your parents said to you, and it just gets really hairy really fast. Yeah, thanks for joining in. I'm going to do a lot of these. I like this. I like being able to do the audio. I'm doing this just so I don't know how much you pay attention to. I'm doing this to grab the transcript of the back end and actually start to organize these into like.
Your voice is very far away now.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah. What were you saying?
Yeah. So I'm doing these to like really just get a transcript on the back end, just to see what topics we want to start to talk about.
Is there some sort of like AI program you can use to like extract and harvest the important? There is.
Yeah, there's a bunch of meeting recorders. I mean, ChatGPT does it great by itself.
No, I know they record it, but is there like a way you can say like, scan this transcript and find the most, or partition it to topics, or perhaps find the most important point. Have you tried that?
Yeah, I do it quite a bit, and some of them do really good jobs. Most of the things now are they're designed for meetings, So it's like, here's the agendas. Yeah, but it does a very good job of being able
Wow.
to do that. Yeah, so it's yeah, meeting transcription and recording is really good now.
Okay.
But it's just, the challenge with it is, how do you take it and like, you just get a whole bunch of data out of it. But yeah, that's what I've been messing around with. And I've got like, I do like 10, 15 recordings a day.
Yeah, that's my thought. That's my main question. I know we can generate the information,
Yes.
but is there a way to like rank order the sections by I don't know, value?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, you could start like, I mean, you could start like looking at this as like, hey, better, like going back to The Art of Impossible, the book we were talking about. It's passion. All right. So what are the topics that I'm like? I talked about a bunch of stuff. What are the ones I'm most passionate about? And then where do those resonate with other people? So I'd say like this is probably more interesting. Like this, there's a higher signal in this part of this session than the rest because you're involved with it, right? There's somebody else. It's two people kind of masterminding to be able to create stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the whole. I can share some of
I
the I can share some of the summaries after this.
I do think it actually is important information to someone that's like a little less experienced in the whole data science stuff because you don't know any of this if you don't experience it at all, and you're like
Yes.
you have no like frame of reference or anything, and it's like it's the challenge. The most challenging part is not the technical side; it's all the
Yeah.
business and the people side.
Yes. Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what
Go ahead.
separates like the best from like the like juniors. Not that the juniors
Yes.
are bad, but they just don't have as much
Yeah.
historical knowledge of all that stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's it, right? Like, isn't it like you have like either you're just going to spend your whole life doing the technical and become like the 0.1% there, right? Or you're going to do the people like, but I mean, it's almost impossible in a corporate space
Well,
because of what you
yeah. So
said.
there's like
Yeah.
yeah. So I kind of discovered there's like three sides. There's like the people, like problem, big picture. There's like the top 1% that's going to work at like OpenAI, and
Yes.
then like I also, which I'm kind of going towards more, is there's like the person who helps with data science, but then also helps a lot of the engineering and the operational side, which is what I'm kind of going towards. There's those like three, at least in the data science space, there's like those three things. And
Yes.
yeah, and it's like, I know I wasn't going to become the 1% of OpenAI, and I'm like, I could probably do the people thing, but like I'm not as into it anymore. So then you can choose the other side. There's probably other sides I'm not. Oh,
Yeah.
another one you can do is like kind of more of the
Yes.
analyst side of it too. But yeah, so there's like kind of those four quadrants. Can you hear me? I'll cut out. Hello?